understanding the fundamentals of economics. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. In this episode, we will explore the fascinating world of economics. Whether you are a student, a professional, or simply curious about how the world functions, understanding economic principles is essential. More importantly, this discussion is tailored to help you enhance your English vocabulary with words commonly found in academic contexts and IELTS examinations. Economics is fundamentally the study of how societies allocate scarce resources to satisfy unlimited wants. At its core, it examines production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. By grasping these concepts, you can better comprehend global events, market trends, and personal financial decisions. Let's begin with the concept of supply and demand, which is the cornerstone of economics. Demand refers to how much of a product consumers are willing and able to purchase at a given price, while supply indicates how much producers are willing to sell. The interaction of supply and demand determines the equilibrium price. For example, if the demand for electric cars increases, but the supply remains limited, the price tends to rise. In English discussions, you might hear, the equilibrium price adjusts when there is a shift in either demand or supply, which introduces academic phrases like equilibrium and adjusts. Another essential term is inflation, which refers to the general increase in prices over time, reducing the purchasing power of money. Moderate inflation is often a sign of a growing economy, but excessive inflation can be detrimental. For instance, countries experiencing hyperinflation witness prices soaring rapidly, causing economic instability. You could articulate this in English by saying, inflation erodes the value of savings, necessitating strategic financial planning. The use of words like erodes and necessitating reflects an advanced level of English. Closely related is the concept of interest rates, which are the cost of borrowing money or the reward for saving. Central banks manipulate interest rates to regulate economic activity. For example, lowering interest rates encourages borrowing and spending, stimulating the economy, whereas increasing rates can help curb inflation. You might encounter sentences such as, the central bank reduced interest rates to invigorate economic growth, which combines sophisticated vocabulary with practical knowledge. Fiscal policy is another critical concept. Governments use fiscal policy to influence economic conditions through taxation and public expenditure. Expansionary fiscal policy, such as increased government spending, can boost employment and production, whereas contractionary measures, like higher taxes, aim to control inflation. You might say, the government implemented an expansionary fiscal policy to counteract the recession, which is a common expression in economic discourse. Monetary policy, on the other hand, involves managing the money supply and credit availability. Central banks, such as the Federal Reserve or the European Central Bank, use tools like interest rate adjustments, open market operations, and reserve requirements to achieve economic stability. In English, a phrase you might use is, monetary policy decisions significantly impact consumer confidence and investment patterns. Notice the academic words like significantly, impact, and patterns, which elevate your English proficiency. Another important economic principle is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative that is foregone when making a decision. For example, if a government allocates funds to build highways, the opportunity cost might be the healthcare services that could have been funded instead. You could express this idea in English as, understanding opportunity costs is crucial for making informed policy and investment decisions. Let's also touch upon gross domestic product, or GDP. GDP measures the total value of all goods and services produced within a country during a specific period. It serves as a primary indicator of economic health. Economists analyze GDP trends to assess growth, compare economies, and forecast future performance. For instance, you could say, a surge in GDP reflects robust economic activity and increasing consumer confidence. Advanced terms like surge and robust enhance the quality of English communication. Unemployment rate is another indicator closely monitored by policymakers. High unemployment can indicate economic stagnation, while low unemployment often signifies prosperity. When discussing this in English, you might say, the government implemented job creation programs to mitigate rising unemployment, using words like mitigate to demonstrate a high level of vocabulary. Globalization has added a new dimension to economics. International trade, capital flows, and interconnected markets make economies more interdependent. Concepts like comparative advantage explain why countries specialize in producing goods where they have an efficiency edge. You could phrase this in English as, countries benefit from comparative advantage by exporting goods in which they are most efficient and importing others. Words like specialize, efficiency edge, and exporting enrich academic discussions. Finally, let's consider sustainable development. Economics today increasingly emphasizes sustainability, ensuring that economic growth does not deplete natural resources or harm the environment. For example, investing in renewable energy and green technology can drive long-term prosperity while protecting the planet. You could articulate this in English as, sustainable economic policies balance growth with environmental stewardship, which is a sophisticated way to communicate this concept. In conclusion, understanding economics is not only vital for navigating the financial world, but also provides a valuable framework for improving English vocabulary and communication skills. Today, we explored essential terms such as supply and demand, inflation, interest rates, fiscal and monetary policy, opportunity cost, GDP, unemployment, comparative advantage, and sustainable development. By incorporating these terms in context, you can discuss economic issues with confidence and sophistication in English. Thank you for listening to this episode. Remember, mastering economic concepts while expanding your vocabulary is both practical and intellectually rewarding. Keep practicing, stay curious, and continue learning. Until next time, happy learning!